Welcome to another show. Don't get this twisted. I am Rob, along with my co-host, as always, Tina. How you doing, Tina?
I'm doing great, Rob. I'm a little sunburnt, but I'm hanging in there.
Very nice. I might be a little burnt.
You look a little red around the edges.
Yeah, look at that. You can see
Yeah.
You can see it. I was out in the sun.
I was in the pool all day today.
Yeah. Mine is from the pool as well. So,
nice.
Yeah. I mean, it's not easy when you can't use your arm. So I was basically sitting.
Swimming in circles?
not even swimming. Well, thankfully, the pool I was in has I forgot what she called it. It's like a little beach.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a 8-foot flat platform. So you can just kind of walk in it. If you want to lay into it, it's like up to your chest area. It's for people.
The whole pool is?
No, just like 8 feet of it.
Okay.
And then it has a drop off.
Oh.
But I could walk, because I walked in it, I could walk all the way through it because it gets deep and then it gets shallow again. Okay. So, and I'm almost 6 feet, and it was barely to my chin with my head up. So it's probably like at its deepest 6 feet.
Nice.
So I was like, yeah. So I walked all the way to the end, and I had my dog with me, and my dog was freaking out. Because
really?
because he didn't understand why I was disappearing. And then I walked all the way back, and my friend kept telling me oh, bring him in. And we tried to get him to jump in, and he wouldn't. So I finally, with my left arm, just kind of picked him up and dropped him really quick, and he fucking froze.
Oh no.
So he didn't understand. He was just like, oh, it's watery. And then she called him, and he kind of walked really slow, really slow.
Oh,
he was in quicksand because he didn't understand. And then he finally kind of looked for a place to get out. So I'm like, all right. So I helped him out. And then he shook off a bunch of times, and he was hanging out because it was hot. It was like 110.
Yeah.
So we're hanging out. And then she's at the lip of where this drop off is. And it's, like I said, it's up to her, her almost neck. Let's just say a little bit less. And she's like, come on, Bishop, come on. And he finally just jumped in by himself.
Oh,
and both me and her were like, whoa, he did it. He jumped in. And then he went to the shelf and took one step and put his whole head in. He was like, oh, he backed up, but he just kind of stood. He was there for 35 minutes.
Nice.
Just kind of walking in circles in the water, and he wouldn't get out. It was fun. It was kind of interesting, but it was a good time to watch my dog jump in the water, because I took him to the dog beach when he was 1, and he ran from the water.
Oh.
But here's the thing. After that, he would walk around the whole pool. And the whole time now I'm like a helicopter dad, because, I don't think he understands that depth yet, because he hasn't tried to swim.
Yeah.
And I can't really help him swim because I can't use both my hands.
Right.
So, but it was fun. But every time he'd get close, me and her would be like, And I kind of turn around and, don't jump in. Please don't jump in. But I have a feeling he would probably swim. He would, they're smart dogs.
He's just got to figure out what to do.
Yeah.
That's it.
So
that's cool though.
Yeah, it was fun. I'm probably going to go hang out with her again and take him with me again. So we'll see how he does this next time. I have a feeling he's just going to jump right in next time. Oh crap.
That's cool.
Anyway, this week on episode 201.
201.
I was talking with my friend, and I was like, hey, I'm starting to ask other people again for things to talk about.
For show topics?
For show topics, because, it's always good to rattle people's cages. And generally it comes from some personal thing. And those are the better topics, right? Because they're like, oh. So she was like, oh, have you guys done one on, can you rebound in a relationship after someone cheats? And I told her, I go, look, we've probably talked about this on our show multiple times. But I think what she was really kind of going for is, can you make it really work afterwards? Like, because I think a lot of people will try, and more of the other discussion is, would you even try? Because that's kind of what I said to her. I go, see, this is these are two topics, because my whole thing is, I don't think I could even try, because to me, that's like, once you go there, it's very difficult, right? To rebound from that. So I've been cheated on. And funny thing is that I found out that someone that I dated admitted to me years later that she cheated on me before it ended. Where I haven't. I've never cheated on someone that I was with. But as you know, on this show, I've been with people I've been the other person.
Yeah.
Which makes me just as guilty. I'd love to be, self-righteous and say that I've never done that before, but I'm just as shitty. So, but I think so. In your case, what would you like? Would you try? Do you think you would?
I would try to make it work if I truly loved the person, for sure. I would give it a shot, but something changes when that happens, and it's very hard to get back to what you had, and the feelings that you had. It takes work to forgive somebody, and it's not easy.
Correct. See, now this particular person I know, it happened in front of each other. So it was like,
well, if it's consensual that both of them are doing it or something like that, that's not cheating.
I agree.
That's opening up the relationship.
Correct. But this is what stems from that. And this is kind of what I think, it's the same but different. And I'll explain what I mean. Where she said that once it happened one time, she couldn't get that out of her brain, seeing it. And I think for someone who doesn't see it, but it does happen, you still have that vision, right? You think of them being with somebody else. I couldn't, it would be very hard for me. Very hard. Just because I'm a big believer in, I don't share well. I don't let people eat fries off my plate. Nevertheless, touch my woman.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, it would be very difficult for me.
I get that. I think
because
it's difficult for everybody, though. You're not exempt from that. Obviously, everybody would have jealousy issues or second thoughts or different things that go on in their heads from having that happen. I think if you didn't, then there's something wrong with you.
Right. And I'm sure it's it's a mind fuck. You know what I mean? Right. It's just, it's such a mental thing because, and again, I think if you're married, it's even more of a mind fuck because you're supposed to, your vows are supposed to mean something.
Yeah.
I think as a whole, like we've talked about it before, and I know statistically, I'll say this nice with our lovable thing here on this show, the bell curve, women and men cheat for different reasons.
For sure.
I think men do it because it's a physical thing. They just want to get laid and maybe they're not getting it at home. Women, I think, cheat because it's an emotional bond that then that physical and an emotional bond are a super duper connection.
Yeah.
Where that's why I think when things go south and you decide to go separate ways, people start going, oh, you've left me because you already have somebody else. And it's like, and I'm sure that statistically that's probably a lot of truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that it's also where people leave, and maybe there was cheating, but now they're trying to start this whole new life over, and they don't have anybody else. They're trying to find out what is going on in life.
Right.
You know, it it's such a, I mean, I don't know about young people because, they're so different than now. To me, it's just a very difficult thing to try to recover from. And I know people who have, and they're happy on the surface, because I don't know for real if they're happy,
Right.
because you only know a certain amount. But do you think that it's always going to be in the back of your mind?
Well, I've been cheated on in almost all of my relationships that I've had. And it does stick in your head. Like there's never going to be a time when you don't question it,
Mhm.
or if you see a look or something that you don't wonder, there's I don't know. I always wondered. But here's the funny thing is I didn't want to know. Because if you know, then you got to do something about it. So as much as I thought maybe it was going on, I did try to hide from knowing the truth.
Right.
Yeah.
But do you find yourself, I think even if you don't know, but you think it, it can become debilitating, because
Well,
that's all you think about.
being intuitive and close to a person, when I'm close to a person, I read everything.
Mhm.
Um, I know before they know that they're getting sick. I pay attention to stuff like that. So when I see it, I'm like, oh crap, here it goes. They're gonna fuck it up. And they do. But I see it coming. I
Right.
don't think I've ever got sucker punched completely, for sure.
I I think in my divorce I got sucker punched with just wanting a divorce. You know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
finding out later on things I found out, it was, yeah, I probably should have opened my eyes a little bit bigger,
Yeah.
and you would have, it would have been easier to go, oh yeah, this is
This
kind of
is
the
happening.
this is kind of the tell sign. And
Yeah.
this is kind of, but I think that once it happens, and again, I don't, I found out on everything way later. So the blunt was, I got stabbed with a butter knife. I didn't
Yeah.
get, so it was like, oh, okay. Or yeah, I kind of thought it, and who cares now? Right. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I could, once it happens, it's got to be that thing where everything starts becoming something that isn't real. Like, why were you late? Why did you do this? Why are you working so
Yeah.
much? Like, and I would have such a problem, because I'll mentally fuck myself all the time on things that aren't like that. So like, I, I've, I've worried myself into no sleep, all kinds of things. So it, I think once it happens once, it's got to be this constant, I wonder, I wonder, I wonder. And that's got to be just the worst thing possible for a human being, and then a relationship, because then you end up sabotaging your own relationship.
Well, jealousy is a horrible thing because nothing good's going to come out of it. So if you're already thinking that way, it's a wrap. You got to let go at
Mhm.
that point,
Right.
because you'll never get over it. You'll never get past it. There'll always be that doubt, or that if you're one of those people that do that, like it's always going to be there. That little doubt that makes you wonder every time they're not consistent. And that's torture too. My
But do you
mom,
think that that just continues from person to person to person? Or do
I
you
don't
think that
know.
there's a way of getting over it?
I think there's a way of getting over it. I mean, be confident in yourself and know that not everybody's the same. You have to give people a break. You can't take one, shit sandwich to the next party. It's not fair to the person.
Right.
My mom used to tell
That's a
me that
great, you
if
can't take the same
somebody
shit sandwich. That's funny.
my mom used to tell me that jealousy is a disease, it's a sickness. And if you're going to be jealous, get away from that person because that person's not meant for you. And I always took that to heart. Like, if somebody makes you jealous, you're clearly in the wrong situation. And
Wow.
I just always lived by that. Like, if somebody's going to make me jealous, I can't deal.
But the by hearing that, I think that you probably get out of things fairly quickly. That once you feel a certain
Oh
way.
no, I'm a slow learner. I'll be honest.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'll let a lot happen, but I really don't. I don't go to the jealous route. I'm like, well, maybe if I was doing something better or tried harder, things would be different. So, but yeah, and a lot of times I'm just like, yeah, this guy's not making me feel good, so I'm done with him. So I've done
Right.
that. I've done that too.
Yeah, uh, I do my best now to read people a little harder.
Yeah.
Like I ask different questions now
Right.
where I might not have done it as a younger person.
Mm-hmm.
Where because like now, for one, I think it's so funny because I think I used to say things about like, when you were young, your uncles and aunts and your parents would talk and you were like, and they talk shit about a lot of people or they say outlandish things. Like my mom was crazy anyway, but I think as you get older, your give a fuck meter just totally goes away.
Right.
Or your filter for asking upfront questions becomes way bigger. You're just like, what do you think of this? And I've blindsided people on dates and they're like, uh or like simple things. I went on a date a while back. The first thing I told her was like, so who are you? And they were like, huh?
What?
Who are you? Like, tell me who you are. I go, I don't need a dissertation. I'm like, who are you though? And she's like, I don't know. She's like, well, you thought about this question. And I was like, not really. It just came to my mind. And she's like, well, who are you? And I was like, I'm nerdy and this and this and this. And, and she was like, oh, and I said, you know who you are. We all know who we are. You don't have to get into depth. Like I didn't ask you if you've, what you got, what your grades were in college. Like, I don't care about that. But tell me who you are. Like, you find this funny or this. You can like really filter people out, or even on a first date, or maybe not first date, but second or third, if you end up going out, you can start talking about like, so what do you think about like, if cheating in a relationship? What would you do? You can really get better with people, I think, than I could when I was young. I would never ask crazy questions like that. This wasn't me.
Well, we're a totally different mindset at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was more, I just want to get laid, so I better not say anything stupid. Where, now I'm just like, no. I sent a meme to somebody. It was really kind of the outreaching things of what I think life is as you get older. It's find someone that you can laugh with or that laughs with you, but you're totally serious about.
Yeah.
And it's like, that matters. Like these things matter because you can have a great love life and but you should be able to laugh at each other and be quirky with each other. I did find something that a friend of mine said that they were talking. He was, I don't want to say a sex addict because I don't know. I can't use that term, but that's the only term I can think of. Right. they were talking about something, and sex came up, and it was like he basically said that like their relationship was based around that. And she went, "What happens when we can't do it anymore?" And he was like, "Well, what do you mean?" He's like, "What happens if we can't? For whatever reason, what's going to happen to us?" And I guess kind of blindsided him, because he was like, and she's like, "That's the problem. Like, sex is great. Sex is fun. It can't be the only thing that connects us." And I think these were things that led to their lifestyle change and doing other things. Now, here's the thing. Yes, it started that way, but then she decided she didn't want to do it anymore. Like, I'm done with this. I don't want to do this anymore. I feel whatever way, a certain way.
Right.
I don't want to. And I guess it kind of poo-pooed on their relationship, right? Like, he was just didn't understand it. And then she found out later on that he went outside the marriage. And
Because she didn't want to be who she was.
right. Even though they were still having sex, he wanted the swinging style. He wanted that kind of thing. And she was like, "No, I don't want to do this anymore." And so we were talking about that. She's like, "Well, what do you think?" And I was like, "Look, either one of you, if it says to me, if once you say no, everyone should be out."
But how do you say no? And that's kind of hard, because when you're allowing somebody that you love to sleep with other people, and then all of a sudden you don't, that's not going to really work.
I agree. My thing is this. I kind of said like, you're done.
Yeah.
There is no more relationship. You have to end it. But I think that the part of it was that she just wanted to have a regular life again.
You gotta marry a regular guy then, not one that's into threesomes.
It
or
wasn't
more.
Yeah, it was more.
Or more. Yeah. Threesomes or more.
Yeah, or more. Right. So for me, I was trying to grasp all these things because, like I was telling you before, I couldn't share anyway, so I would never get in that deep. it would be like, "Hey, I want to do this," and I'd go, "No," and it would either end there or end. But and I kind of said, we talked about that. I was like, I'm sure, because I was trying to play both sides, right? Devil's advocate, just like what you said. Like, you can't just stomp on the brakes, because people
No.
don't understand why you're stomping on the brakes.
Well, and his mindset is not going to be in the same place hers is, because he's digging on it. He's
Right.
like, "I get to sleep with other people. This is quite fantastic.
Yeah.
Why would I want to stop when I got more?"
Right.
That's just human nature.
Right. Well, and I think it was more than that too. I think he enjoyed watching her with someone else.
Well, I'm sure he enjoyed a lot of things about it.
Right. But I think that was a big part of that. It wasn't just him sleeping with somebody else. He enjoyed that part of it. Right. And so that's when, and I never really asked too personal if she watched. She did at one point, because she said that that was kind of like a hard thing for her to get out of her brain after it.
Yeah.
But look, and again, once I get it. Like, it's hard. It's got to be hard for someone to just wake up and go, "No, I'm not doing this anymore." totally understand both sides of it.
I don't think it's as hard to say I'm done with it as it is to be the person hearing that they're not going to do it anymore.
Right.
I think it's harder for them because their mindset's in a different space.
Yeah, because I think for whatever feeling you get, you can't, I'll never question that kind of feeling from somebody. If you don't want to do that anymore,
You shouldn't
that's
do
a
it.
personal thing. Like,
Yeah.
I just don't want to
Well,
do this.
the sex in itself, if there's something you don't want to do, don't do it. Like that's your body. That's your sacred space. Like don't allow things to happen that you're not ready for. You don't want to have happen.
Right. Well, and it's funny too, because we were talking about porn. And we were kind of talking about how I think it wrecks people, because it wrecks men, first of all, for sure, because it sets a standard that's not real. Right. So if you're into somebody who's like, if you're into a porn star who's wild on film and you want your girlfriend to be that girl gets paid to do this stuff.
Yeah.
And if you listen to, like, there's a podcast that this guy interviews porn stars. Some of them are crazy psycho outside of filming. A lot of them are regular old people,
Right.
who are borderline vanilla at home.
Right.
Because some of them are like, it's not realistic. Like, people aren't really like that. We do this because it's an entertainment form and I get paid well to do it. So as she went, this girl was telling me that she, because of people that she had been with in the past, thought that that's what men wanted. So she tried to, and again, she was very young. That's the other thing I have to kind of preface it. She was a girl. She was like 18, 19, 20 years old when all this was starting. So, and not to excuse that, but I'm sure the guy she was with was much older. So it's much easier to twist and turn people. But when you think that that's all men want, you try to become that. And then the next thing you know, she's a people pleaser. So she tried to be the people pleaser. And I've heard that from other female friends in my life that were people pleasers, that on not just a sexual form, but just everything. Like, you just morph into being that person and say yes to everything because you want everyone to like you or have everything done. It's a difficult thing for me. Like, we've talked a lot about a lot of things on here, Tina, and had people on who were assaulted and people who, or we've talked about people who are deep in sexual things. To me, it's a darker cloud every time I hear female friends talk to me. It sometimes makes me ill how guys are. It's very interesting for me now that we've talked about a lot of stuff and had other girls on, that it's like when we did the online dating one years ago, the first thing that they talked about was like how quickly guys are sending pictures of their dick to them.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah.
That's just commonplace. And you kind of have to use that as like a way to weed people out. Like if they're sending you a dick pic, block them, be done with it. Like there shouldn't even be an explanation. Come on.
And I agree.
Or if you like it or you want to be with them, well, then you do that too. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be I don't know. I think a lot of times I know that girls say, oh, well, I had this happen or that happen, but you have to set the standard for how people are going to treat you. And if you set your standard high, they won't be sending you dick pics. But if you set it low, you're going to get a ton of them.
Right. But okay, so that's fair enough. I totally I'm down for that. That's a good way of looking at it. How do we change men to stop doing this?
Well, tell them. You know what I know about men in my life, that men need to know where your head's at. They need to know what your boundaries are. They need to know what your expectations are. And when you give them the boundaries, they stay within the boundaries. They're not trying to piss off women. They're not trying to make life hard on them. They want to like live in harmony just like everybody else does. But excuse me, but if you do not tell them what your boundaries are, what you like, what you don't like, what you'll put up with, what you won't, like they're going to run rogue. They're going to see what they could get away with. Obviously, who doesn't? Everybody tries that. Men are not exempt from, or women are not exempt from being just like that too. So I think that communication and what you will and what won't put up with is key. You know, and if you're gonna try the swinger lifestyle, you need to know what your boundaries are, what you will and won't put up with. You need to know what your partner's boundaries are and what they will and won't put up with. You need to make sure that you make very like steady lines, solid lines in the sand as to what will and won't go on. And if you're with somebody that's got respect for you, they'll stay in those boundaries. And if they don't stay in those boundaries, don't do it. You shouldn't do it, period.
I guess that is a great point, because boundaries are huge. And I think once you set them and you stay with them, you become such a stronger person.
Oh, yeah.
Where, like you said, you weed out people very quickly. Right. You know, nope.
As you should.
Yeah. I had hung out with somebody that I had a relationship with in the past, and I was going to go hang out with them. And I'm sure not jokingly, but said in like a more haha way, was like, hey, just so you know, we're not sleeping together. And I was like, and then here, my answer was, I didn't think we were. And she was like, I just wanted to, okay, that's fine. A boundary's fine. I don't. Yeah. And then I kind of jokingly said back, though, is the boundary has been set now.
Right.
So if you change your mind, the boundary is set.
Yeah.
So and it was an amazing hangout. Like there was no tension. There was no nothing.
Right.
There was no flirting, nothing. It was very, and I think you are right. Setting boundaries inside your relationship, sexual or not, is going to, it's going to make everyone act correct.
Or it's not.
But
it's still, you still know what you will and won't put up with.
Mm-hmm. I think that, look, can people cheat and fix a relationship? 100%. I'm going to guess that it's statistically not very good.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's very high.
Yeah, it's probably, I bet you it's probably in the 20% range of succeeding. And then inside that 80%, it's I stay because of this or I stay because of that.
Well, you also got to think of like how many times would you put up with them cheating too? Because I know people that have been caught 5, 6, 7 times and their partners stay with them. And I'm like, why the hell would you do that? Like, where is your boundaries? Where is your taking care of you? Who's defending your heart if your partner is going at it like that?
I think once it gets to that, though, it's just a self-esteem issue.
Yeah. It's gotta be.
On both sides. Men have shitty self-esteems as well.
Yeah.
So it's just I'm sure it's a lot of guys that end up going, I'm not going to get anybody better than her.
I don't know.
And then on the flip side,
I don't feel like guys are that like insecure these days. Like, oh, I could get somebody better, no problem.
Well, I think, again, an age part might deal with that too. Let's say you've been with somebody for 25 years
Yeah.
and
It's
you're
cheaper to
50.
keep her at that point.
Well, it's just, am I going to find someone better at 50? And I know that, 50 is the new 40. and I think that is kind of true because Gen Xers are a little weirder.
Yeah.
But it is because the dating pool is fucking poison. It's very difficult, mostly for men. I think we've talked about this. Women have it way easier for almost everything. And from a sexual context, if a guy wants to get laid, he has to work at it. A girl can go to a bar and take home someone 100% of the time. 98% of the time. Let's just be nice. I'll play that someone will say no. But if you have no restrictions, you'll find somebody. You could walk down a bar and go, hey, at 2 a.m., want to go home with me? No. Go to the next stool. Want to go home with me? Want to go home with me? Some guy is going to say yes. Where if a guy did that, he's going home alone.
I don't know. I think he could find somebody too. I mean, the pool is large.
The pool is large.
Our
but
age.
I think women, and I'm going to say this with the utmost respect to women, you guys have a much more, you have to tick more boxes. I think women, when a guy walks up, there has to be some boxes ticked to go home with him. It's not just, I need to get laid. There's too many sex toys now that work better. They don't have to.
Yeah, but there's still something called intimacy that a toy cannot fix, or somebody at a bar cannot provide.
Mm-hmm. Agree. And I think I was just talking to the same friend about that. I go, sex is great. It is. Not everything. I need somebody that's going to sit on the couch with me and hold my hand too.
Yeah.
Someone who's going to share an ice cream when you're out. There's lots of different kinds of intimacy that must be fulfilled on both sides. So if you have one person that is very cuddly, touchy-feely, and the other person is not, it's never going to work.
Right.
But if you have one that's going to do that, but they're very sexual, the other person who's touchy-feely has to be sexual. Like you have to make that work. If not, you're just punching yourself in the face. Never going to work.
Yeah.
Like you can like someone and you can have everything in common, all kinds of good things. Oh, you're great together. When you hang out together, it's amazing. All these shared things. But if she doesn't want to sit next to me on the couch, long run, it's going to be hard because I want that. I don't want to sit on the other side of the fucking couch and yell at each other and over each other's phones. So, but those are the things that I think lead to cheating. You're not getting something from your mate that you may have got before. I think that's the other bigger thing where once you start a relationship a certain way, it's hard to deviate from that. And I mean, what I mean by that is normal sexual activity. I'm not talking crazy shit, just normal. If you have a normal sex life of, I don't know what normal is, I'm going to guess 2 to 3 times a week.
That's normal.
Let's just, I probably not. I bet you it's once a week in a married life, but let's just say 2 or 3. Let's say 2, because it'll be better for my arithmetic. No, actually 3 will be better. So if it's 3 and you're the first 3 years of your relationship, it's still honeymoonish and sex life is good. One of you guys gets a new job, stress starts hitting, and it falls to once a week. And you're like, well, fuck. And you're trying, but your mate is now tired all the time or whatever. And now maybe the girl at work is, hey, is everything okay? I know stress is hard and blah, blah, blah. Like everything, it'll run into, well, she cares about me. She's asking about how bad it is at home or blah, blah, blah. And now it's not 3 times a week and I have a high sex drive and I'm still going to have the once a week with my wife. And now I'm going to fill the void somewhere else. Not that there's no excuses for anything, but I can understand where you have to try, mostly if they come to you and go, look, what's going on? Why aren't we having this relationship that we had before and it was good? And how do we fix that problem? But I think a lot of people don't do that. I think they just go through the motions of, well, not happening.
Well, here's one thing that I also have come to experience for years and years. Women make men their priority. But if you notice in long-term relationships, men don't make women their priority. What they do is they have a list of things that they have to get done, that they have to resolve, that they have to handle, that they have to go through. And then when it's all said and done, then they want to put time into their relationship. And I see that men do that because we're judged differently. Women are judged by the type of family that they have, and men are judged by how well they do in their professional life. And so men are always trying to get more, to be more, to get into a place where they're happy with what they've done with their professional lives. But what happens is they don't put that care. I wouldn't say 100% of the time, but oftentimes they don't put that care into the woman that they're with. And so it leaves a woman going, I take care of you. Why are you not taking care of me? And that starts to breed a little bit of frustration.
Yeah, resentment.
Yeah.
And I agree with you though, because men are judged on what they do.
Yeah.
And again, not that I would never throw shade at either sex because there's issues with both of those. But just like that too, where the family is the more womanly thing, where you'll come home after a long day of work and maybe say you're in a mood and you're right. Maybe your wife who's been home all day with 3 kids isn't in the mood.
Yeah.
It's like, and I would never say that, you should always have sex with your mate. I think that's a tad unrealistic. But that being said, I think that there should be a natural goal with that between the two of you.
Mm-hmm.
Because either sex that holds out or doesn't end up doing it, and it becomes this long period of not having sex and then without talking to each other about it. And I mean like real talks, not like, why aren't we having sex? I don't know. And then it goes away. I'm talking decent communication between people. You should be able to at least go, look, I'm missing this in my life and I'm missing this in my life. How do we come together? Because I love you and all these things. You should be able to fix that before ever going outside of your marriage.
Well, in a perfect world, you would.
Like I said, should be able to.
Yeah.
I mean, some things you're not going to. And like I said, like work wives and work husbands are issues.
Yeah.
And in certain fields, it's worse. I heard the medical field
is horrible.
Is horrible. Like
well,
any
they spend
people,
a lot of time with each other.
It's any of those jobs that are like public service, firefighters, police, medical. I heard they're all just really bad. And again, I'm using the bell curve. If anyone doesn't like that, I'm sorry, but I know people in all 3 of those fields. And it happens with work. It's generally with coworkers.
Mm-hmm.
I know people that are nurses that have had relations with other nurses and cops. I have a
Yeah.
friend who works for the LAPD and he hasn't, but he has told me multiple stories about it happening.
Oh,
And
yeah.
at work, like on the job, like just crazy shit. And then I've heard stories about firemen, but not personal ones. But I've heard like certain things because, you know, they live together.
Right.
You're always in a firehouse with people. So I get it. And I've gotten close to coworkers when I was young, but we never ended up any relations happening from it. But we were definitely walking that tightrope of if we would probably have gone there.
Right.
If either one of us would have pressed it, I'm sure it would have.
Yeah.
And so those are the other things that you have to worry about in regular life. Like not only are you these days fighting social media, as you're fighting DMs and everything, you're fighting people at work because they're in your spouse's ear going, you know, I'm here to help you. You need a shoulder to cry on.
Right.
And then you're facing just regular everyday life at the supermarket, you know, or, you know, going out with your single friends to a bar and you doing something stupid.
Mm-hmm.
My whole thing is I never thought we'd get an answer out of this podcast. There is no answer. I think what you said is the best part is setting very hard boundaries early in a relationship.
Yeah.
And sticking to those boundaries to the point of being okay of being alone.
Mm-hmm.
Because a person who is really, really into you will walk the
Respect
line of
them.
that boundary. Yeah.
Yeah.
And not press you on that boundary. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is only once. It's only this time. It's like, no, this is what we're doing. Don't go past it. And I think that that's an important part of what we're talking about. Matter of fact, I think you said it and we could have ended this probably 25 minutes ago because that is the biggest part. Boundaries and then calling people out for trying to pass them, I think is another part of that.
And also not agreeing to some you cannot do. Like if you know in your heart of hearts that you're going to have a problem with it, don't agree to it.
Right.
Don't give it a shot. You know, that's just not for you.
Nip it in the bud quickly.
Yeah.
I
no,
agree with
that's
that.
not me.
Yeah, that's like dating someone that's like, give you an example. I'm not a big fan of the ocean. That's like trying to date someone who loves scuba diving.
Yeah.
It's like, it's never going to work because you're never going to.
That it's never going to work. It's just going to take a lot of bending on both of your parts to meet in the middle.
But like, you know, the boundary would be like, I'm not going in the ocean ever. I don't do that. But like I said, it would end quickly. It would, or you might not even start. You know what I mean? Like if you start with that boundary pretty hard, you're going to find the right ones.
Yep.
So
very true.
Yeah, we're looking for topics, so feel free to send messages. Call Tina at 2:30 in the morning and leave messages. I mean, to make sure that you get a hold of both of us and leave us a message on anything show topics that you'd like to hear. Don't call her at 2 in the morning.
Up at 2:30 in the morning though, so don't call you at all.
No,
you will be sleeping.
I will be. Matter of fact, my phone won't even ring. I have there's a handful of people that can call me that will actually come through.
Smart.
And it's my son, my dad, my brother, you, and my best friend down south. There's only
Really?
that can bother me at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Like, but I mean, to be fair though, it turns back off at 4:30 in the morning when I'm awake. So just wait a couple more hours. We'll be fine.
Right.
I'll pick up after that. But yeah, there's between 9:30 and 4:30 in the morning. I have a very select group of people who can get through to me.
Nice.
That's a boundary.
That's a boundary for sure. You should have more of them.
Yeah, I'm trying. 54 and I'm trying to be a different person.
I get you.
Which is, I think, a pretty positive thing for me.
Yeah.
Hey, you can hear this podcast pretty much anywhere, but Spotify, Apple are the biggest ones. A lot of people use Chrome, which is interesting because you're listening to us online, like on a computer, which I think is pretty badass, or you're on your phone listening to it, which is kind of neat too. And we're here every Wednesday. Check us out on the socials. I skipped this week. I'm going through physical therapy now, so my
And
swings.
you're one-handed.
I'm one-handed, and my swings and mood can vary.
Ah.
I had a couple. Not the first day or the second, the third day, I had a lot of pain, like a lot. Like I had trouble sleeping that night. And then here's the funny thing: woke up the next morning, 100% feeling better.
You needed
I was
some
so
sleep.
upset. I woke up and I was like, "What in the blue hell?" I'm also sleeping sitting up, so I just slept really good, like I was in the right position.
There you
But
go.
yeah, and then this week I'm starting same physical therapy, but probably different exercises. So my body's going to start going through these things.
You got
But I'm
it.
trying.
You got this.
And it's an opinion show. Don't get it twisted. Keep coming back every Wednesday. That's Tina. I'm Rob. We'll see you in a week. Bye.
See ya.